Hey guys, Tapper17 again. I got a new tank cylinder in today, so I figured I would take this opportunity to show you how to install a tank regulator. Alright, one of the first things you want to do is you want to take your regulator, make sure that the O-ring is installed on the stem here. That is going to seal itself onto the top of the reg here. You can see that little silver indentation. That's where the O-ring is going to rest. So to make sure that it's the proper sized O-ring and it's going to sit flush and that there's no problem with the threads, you just want to take it before you do anything and just very carefully screw it in to your cylinder. Sorry guys, I'm doing this one-handed. It's moving very easily. It's not binding. You do not want to cross-thread it. Do not force the regulator onto the cylinder if it feels like it's binding on something. Should be going in very easily. Alright, I'm on the O-ring, so it's a little tight, and that feels about flush. Now what you want to check for is a gap in between the regulator and the tank body. I do not see one. That means that the reg is sitting flush. The O-ring's not pushing out of the groove, so it's the proper size one. It's not oversized. Alright, so once you establish that, we can just break this free. Once again, I'm doing this one-handed, so I'm sorry guys. Alright. I'll just get that off. Long threads, and they're long threaded for a reason, so they don't come shooting off on you if your regulator were to start unscrewing. Alright. Now, if you do not air travel, you are going to want to do this next step. If you do air travel and need to remove your regulator a lot, you could skip this. A lot of companies use a little bit of Loctite, even less than a full drop, just very, very light. It's really to seal it together, but also slow down the separation of the cylinder and the regulator if that were to happen. So you have your air groove here that a lot of regs are coming with now. They also have these bleed holes, if I can get a good shot of it. And it's right about there. It goes all the way through to the other side. You don't want Loctite in there. So you want to find the top of your air groove, go a couple threads above that, and then turn away from it. Because remember, Loctite is going to spread into a couple other threads. So you want to put a drop that's in between this bleed hole and the air groove, one on each side, just a little tiny drop. So like one there, turn it over, one there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to install your regulator again, hand tight first, get it down all the way, make sure the O-ring's not pushing out, it's seated properly, it's not cross-threaded. Then you're going to take some strap wrenches. It's not what the companies do, but this is, user generated, so unfortunately a lot of us have access to is some strap wrenches. So what you'll do is you'll get it down hand tight, you take your strap wrenches on top of the regulator on the bonnet area, and you will tighten it down to the cylinder. And that's pretty much all there is to it. You don't want hand tight. Hand tight is not recommended, because what happens is when a lot of people go to unscrew their tanks, what do? They grab the tank right there, and that puts stress on these threads and right here, not up here. That's very bad. So you always want to grasp your tank by the regulator to break it free of your ASA. So that's some good advice right there. Make sure that's not going to separate after you install it. So just really quick, make sure your O-ring's installed. Make sure it moves freely into the cylinder and sits there properly. A little bit of Loctite if you do not air travel. If you air travel, you're going to have to remove your regulator, so you're not going to want to Loctite it. Install it back hand tight. Take some strap wrenches, tighten it down with some tool force. Be careful though, too tight you could snap the threads. So just enough that it's going to hold, but you're not going to be able to grab onto it and pull it by hand. And always remove your tank by the regulator, not the tank body. Okay guys, hope that helps.